Now we're going to talk about posture. Okay, Ruaidhri, we're going to start with posture, and posture is the most important aspect of good running form. If you're running with incorrect posture, it's going to cause fatigue, discomfort and eventually pain. So, good posture is to have your shoulder, hip and ankle bone in a straight line. So that's what we're going to aim towards now today. Now, the first thing we're going to start with is our feet. So, when you're standing, when you're walking, when you're running, you want your feet pointing in the direction your body's going. Some people have a tendency for one or both of their feet to turn out like that. And what happens in that instance, if your foot is going in that direction and your body's going in that direction, your knee automatically wants to go in the direction your body's going. So it's going to cause a twisting effect on your knee with every stride. So we want to practice our feet pointing straight ahead. Now, of all the things I tell you today, this is the only thing that you can't bring into your running straight away. If you're used to running like that, I can't expect you to start running with your feet pointing straight ahead. So this is something that you need to practice over time, walking round. And the little image that we use is, imagine whenever you're walking, imagine there's a line and that the inside of your foot is lined up with that line so that your feet are pointing straight ahead. And through time and with practice of that, you'll be gradually able to bring it into your running. Okay? But again, it's a gradual progression. And, you know, just don't bring your foot in, okay? Rotate your whole leg inwards from your hip. And when you're walking, imagine there's a line, the inside of your foot is lined up with that line so that your feet are pointing in the direction your body's going. Okay? And it's a gradual progression, and just keep practicing it, walking around in everyday life and going for walks and practicing feet pointing straight ahead. And one thing I would say about this is all of this that I show you today needs to be practiced in everyday life, okay? When you're standing, when you're walking around, and that's the key. It's not enough just to think about this while you're out running, because you make the learning process very slow then as a result. So just whenever you're standing, whenever you're walking, you can bring all of these drills, all of these focuses in, and you build it in then into the muscle memory, and you become familiar with it, and it's much easier then to transfer into your running. So that's the first thing. Okay, the next thing now we're going to talk about is leveling our pelvis and engaging our core muscles. So, I want you to imagine, first of all, that your pelvis is like a bowl or a basin, and we want to have it level like that. Okay, when it's level like that, you're much more stable in your movement. Okay, if it's tipped forward, it becomes unused and underdeveloped and puts a lot of pressure on the lower back area and the lower extremities. So you want to imagine your pelvis level like that. Okay, now the muscles we use to level our pelvis are the lower abdominals. These lower abs are for stabilization, to keep us stable in our movement. So I want you to get each finger there and put it on your hip bones, just in front of your hips. Just want you to get familiar with the muscles we're using to level the pelvis. So just move in an inch or so from your hip bones, and I want you to cough and just feel those muscles contract. Yeah, good. Now I just want you to feel your belly button and measure 3 finger lengths down from that, and again cough and just feel the muscles contract. Okay, so it's this band of muscle across here that we're going to use to level the pelvis and engage the core muscles. And our aim, our ambition through time and with practice is to be able to hold this pelvis in a level position all the while we're running. And again, practice it in everyday life when you're standing, when you're walking around. And when you level the pelvis, you're working these muscles and they're getting stronger. Okay? And then again, through time and with practice, you'll be able to hold it for longer and longer while you're out running. So, simply all you do is just put one hand here on your belly button and the other hand on your sacrum, just above your tailbone. And nice and gently now, without clenching the butt muscles, you're just going to zip up like that. Imagine you're zipping up a tight pair of trousers, just ever so slightly. You don't want to have the pelvis forward, or you don't want to have it too far back. So it's just in between the two. Just feeling that slight contraction in the lower abs. Give the butt muscles a good thumping out now there, because as I said, there's a tendency when you're practicing this initially to tighten the glutes. But we just want to isolate the lower abs and keep everything else nice and relaxed around the hips, the glutes, the middle and lower back area. Because if there's one area of your body that'll hold you back when you're holding tension in it, it's the middle and lower back. So we want to be nice and free and loose around the middle and lower back. Keep this little awareness here in the lower abs. So again, just zipping up ever so slightly and relaxing the hips, the glutes and the middle and lower back. The last little bit of the jigsaw with the posture is to get that shoulder, hip and ankle bone in a straight line. So we have our feet pointing straight ahead. We feel the balance in our feet, so not too much weight on the heels, not too much on the forefoot, not too much on either side. And we're nice and tall now, so we're lengthening the back of the neck to straighten the spine. Good. And the head and neck is in line with our spine, and we have that level pelvis, so we're zipping up ever so slightly and keeping the glutes relaxed. Now, a big mistake that a lot of people make is we stand with our hips a little bit too far forward. We have a tendency to stand like that, and we think we're tall, we think we're straight, okay? But that's not good posture. You see my shoulder is here, my hip is here, and remember I said shoulder, hip and ankle bone in a straight line is good posture. So, what do we need to do? My hips are too far forward, so I need to bring my hips back like that, and the little cue or the little image that we use is we bring our hips back until we can see the bows of our shoelaces. Okay, so if I'm standing like this, which is incorrect posture, my hips are too far forward. So simply all I do is maintain the balance on the feet and just bring the hips back like that until I can see the bows. Okay, now I have that straight line. I have that shoulder, hip and ankle bone in a straight line. Now, don't make the mistake of when you bring the hips back, don't make the mistake when you bring your head up of pushing your hips forward again. So just be aware of that. Although it feels more forward than what you're used to, okay, just bring the head up to the correct position. And it will feel more forward, because if you're used to standing like that and I ask you to do this, you think you're forward, but in actual fact you're straight for the first time maybe in a long time. Okay, and it's just again a matter of getting familiar with that feeling of that shoulder, hip and ankle bone in a straight line. And I encourage people and advise people to just stand and just get familiar. Stand for 10 minutes every day over a period of 4 or 5 weeks, just to get familiar with what that good posture feels like. And then it's much easier then to transfer into your running. The posture, as I said, needs to be practiced in everyday life to become familiar with it. And in the learning process, a nice way to bring those hips back, because as I said, we have a tendency to have the hips forward. So just simply, just do this, okay? And it helps to get you into good posture. It helps to bring those, so if I'm standing like this, I just want to show you, if I'm standing like this and I do this, okay, it helps to bring those hips back. And now I have that straight line. And it also helps you to draw your attention to your center. Okay, and level the pelvis. So again, simply, if I'm standing like this, and I just bring the hips back like that. And in actual fact, you can be running along, okay, and just to check in with your posture, just do that. Just do that, just for 2 or 3 seconds. Check in with your posture, okay? But you need to become familiar with it, standing, walking around, to know what you're looking for. Okay? But this is really helpful in the learning process, okay? And keeping that little awareness in the lower abs. Also with the posture, just to help you get a little bit of movement going. So we're in the good posture, Rory, so feeling the balance in the feet, holding up the sky with the crown of your head, shoulders down and relaxed, level the pelvis and bring those hips back until you see the bows of the shoelaces. Good. So all we're simply going to do now is just bring your feet as you would when you're running, even closer like that, close together, Rory, yeah? And simply all you're going to do is just bring one foot up at a time like that. And this we call the one-legged posture stance. Every time your foot lands, feel it land underneath you. and it's getting a little bit of movement going with good posture. Okay, so just look straight ahead for the moment, yeah, and we're going to do just our one-legged posture stance. Now I want you to stop. Yeah, yeah. So I want you to look down and see, can you see the bows of your shoelaces? Okay, again, it's to just get familiar with not letting those hips drift forward. Okay, it's getting a little bit of movement going with good posture. Okay, so again, just feel on our one-legged posture stance. Every time your foot lands, feel it land underneath your shoulder, hip and ankle bone in a straight line. Good. And now that's it. Okay, great. So that's the posture, and practice it as much as possible in everyday life, and the more you practice it, the more familiar you will get with it, and you'll be able to bring it into your role. Now, we'll take a little break. Right, so we're going to demonstrate the difference between when you're in good posture and when you're not, and how much more sturdy you are in your structure when you're properly aligned. So what I'm going to get you to do, Ruaidhri, is just to stand, so just with your back to me like this, all right? And I'm going to get you to stand the way you normally stand, okay? And I just want to show you, as I said, how much more sturdy you are when you're in that good alignment, and I want you to get the feel of it as well. So that's your normal stance first of all, and what I'm going to do is just simply now just push down on your shoulders like that, and you see how you're coming back with me, okay? So you can imagine, okay, and we'll do that one more time. I'm just pushing down, okay? You can imagine when you're running and you're not in good posture, and every time your foot lands, okay, you're having so much impact up the body and down the body. So we want to get you into that good posture and just show you the difference and let you feel the difference of how much more sturdy you are when you're properly aligned. So let me talk you through it, Ruaidhri. So feet pointing in the direction your body's going, good. And feel the balance in the feet. Feel the weight distribute evenly, good. Feeling the spine, so just lengthen the back of the neck there with the hand, Ruaidhri. So lengthen the back of the neck, good. Head and neck in line with your spine, shoulders relaxed, down and relaxed, level the pelvis, good. And now look down to see the bows. Okay, good. And just relax the knees, feel the balance in the feet, and let go of all the tension now. Just feeling strong in the core, feeling that little awareness in the lower abs to keep the pelvis level. And just have a little peep again at the bows. Okay, and feeling the balance in the feet, good. And again, just head and neck in line with the spine, good. Okay, I'm going to push down again and let you feel the difference, Ruaidhri. You see that? Okay, so now you're sturdy in your structure, very good, great. So when your foot lands, okay, there's going to be less impact on the body with every stride. Good, so that's really important. The posture is the cornerstone. The posture is the foundation. Once you have the posture right, everything else falls into place much, much easier. But if you're not in good alignment, there's way, way too much impact up the body. Okay? And this needs to be practiced as much as possible in everyday life, when you're standing, when you're walking around, and then putting a little bit of time aside so that you can become familiar with it. And then you're going to feel much, much stronger in your running.